White plantain flour helps to build and strengthen stronger bones and can be a great meal for diabetic patients. It decreases your chances of constipation as it has a high fiber content and provides you with a low-fat diet. Here are some steps to prepare your through on white plantain flour. Firstly, mix through on white plantain flour with hot water in a pot and gradually add water till you achieve desired thickness. Place over medium heat and turn very well for 4 to 5 minutes to get the right texture. Mold into a ball and place in a bowl and allow to cool. Serve with your choice of soup. Through on white plantain flour can be eaten with any variety of soup, be it your ofe oha, ofe onugbu, gbegiri, ewedu, or your miyan kuka. To get your through on white plantain flour, contact us at 12 Olowera Isheri Road by First Welder bus stop off Omole Phase 2, Olowera, Lagos, Nigeria, or call 070-6663-8213 or 081-6397-4447. Distributors are needed nationwide.
Hello and welcome. This is Business Now, reaching live from IBrandTV News Studio in Lagos, Nigeria. Coming up, Nigeria's unclaimed dividends rise to 180 billion naira. House of Representatives grill NNPC, Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, marketers over rising petrol, diesel, gas prices. Nigeria-European Union trade balance reaches 6 billion euros in 2021. International Monetary Fund to review Kenya's performance in its current lending program. Thanks for joining us, and here are business stories making headlines at this hour. I am Perpetua Fasomi Peter. The federal government has said it regrets that the petroleum refineries are not working while ruling out the possibility of introducing subsidies on automotive gas oil. It stated that it could not afford the payment of subsidies on diesel. The chief executive officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, made this known in Abuja on Tuesday. The House of Representatives Committee on Downstream had summoned stakeholders in the oil and gas sector to an investigative hearing over the scarcity and rising prices of premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, and AGO, also known as diesel, and liquefied petroleum gas, known as cooking gas, in the country. Those grilled by the lawmakers were Kyari, who is the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, and Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed, among others. The Security and Exchange Commission, SEC, has stated that the Commission is working to ensure it reduces the level of unclaimed dividends to 0% in the Nigerian financial market. This was disclosed by Alhaji Lamido Yuguda, the Director General, in an interactive session with the press on Tuesday. As of December 31, 2021, unclaimed dividends have increased to 180 billion naira, according to Yuguda. Although 180 billion naira in unclaimed dividends is a sizable sum, it represents only 5% of the total amount of dividends announced in the entire capital market. He added that the SEC is collaborating with other industry stakeholders, including the Central Securities Clearance System, CSCS, to solve the issue of unclaimed dividends. He also said that the federal government intervened last year by enacting a Finance Act on Unclaimed Dividends Fund. He noted that SEC would continue working to ensure it gets to the 0% level, saying that there is a need for strong investor education to achieve success. The European Union ambassador to Nigeria, Samuel Aisopi, has stated that the balance of trade between Nigeria and the EU reached 6 billion euros in 2021 in favor of Nigeria. The ambassador stated this during a press conference to announce the 8th edition of the EU Business Forum, scheduled to hold in Lagos. According to her, the European Union as a bloc is by far the largest trading partner of Nigeria, with about 28 billion euros in 2021. She said the oil and gas sector represents the bulk of the trade, adding that Europe accounts for 20% of the overall Nigerian trade with the rest of the world. According to her, this is an agenda that we are trying to develop further. Discussions are ongoing between the Nigerian government and the European Union on how to develop economic relations, end of quote. She noted that the EU is the main investor in Nigeria, adding that plans are ongoing to quantify and measure the EU's contribution to Nigeria's economic development in terms of job creation. Following growing demand, investors have in 5 months between January to May 31, 2022, traded foreign exchange worth 24.93 trillion naira, as against 21.36 trillion naira traded in the same period of 2021 via the Investors and Exporters I&E window, indicating an increase of 3.57 trillion naira or 16.71%. This is according to the FMDQ Exchange Fixed Income and Currencies Monthly Report made available to newsmen. The Central Bank of Nigeria had in 2017 introduced the I&E window to further deepen the forex market and accommodate all obligations to the country. However, in 2021, the Apex Bank adopted the I&E as the official rate, stating that it would help boost investor confidence, which has been lacking for some time. According to the report, the average turnover trade by investors and exporters in the period under review is 4.99 trillion naira, as against 4.72 trillion naira in the previous year. The turnover of forex trade at its highest and lowest amounts was 7.29 trillion naira and 4.06 trillion naira in April and February 2022, respectively. Meanwhile, the increasing total foreign exchange turnover at the FMDQ impacted the naira, as it depreciated mostly in May 2022. The federal government has commenced moves to attain the top 70 in the World Bank Ease of Doing Business ranking by 2023 with the adoption of National Action Plan 6.0. Reacting to this, public affairs analyst Asiwaju Abayomi, who spoke earlier on Business Breakfast, averred that except infrastructure and security challenges are addressed, it would remain impossible for Nigeria to achieve the target.
All right. Beyond all of that policies that the government has introduced, I think a sincere investment on infrastructural development is also very key to economic growth and, of course, ease of doing business. You will recall that in recent times, even the price of diesel has skyrocketed, and it's affecting. It's seriously affecting business survival in Nigeria. Take, for example, electricity. If we have 22 hours power supply, it would definitely impact largely on the productivity and, of course, the profitability of businesses in Nigeria. Also, improve security. Yes. A situation where you are scared to even travel because transportation also plays a major role in the survival of business or enable business to thrive. But when you can't travel by road, Kaduna to Abuja, Lagos to Ondo, and for the fear of being kidnapped or being attacked by bandits and all that, some of these things affect businesses, and I think that's one of the reasons why I said I doubt if we can attain the top 70 that we're talking about in 2023, because in recent times we've had serious security challenges in the country, which of course will rub off on our on the survival of business.
Moving on, the federal government has disclosed that its target for milk production is 1.6 billion litres per annum to achieve self-sufficiency in livestock products and animal protein needs. This was disclosed by Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Muhammad Abubakar, on Tuesday while unveiling the National Pasture Development Program, NAPDEP, in the Pai-Konkore Grazing Reserve in Abuja. The minister stated that currently 95% of Nigeria's ruminant production is primarily managed under the traditional pastoral system. Abubakar stated that Nigeria's current ranking by FAO is 15th in the world in cattle, 5th in sheep and 3rd in goats and 17th in camel farming. He urged partners within the industry, especially researchers, academia, subnational governments, international development partners, and the private sector to embrace the National Pasture Development Program, NAPDEP. He added it will also reduce conflicts emanating from cattle movement, attainment of self-sufficiency in good quality pasture and forage production, and the transition from extensive grazing to a well-planned, settled form of livestock production. Analysts have identified multiple taxation and bureaucratic bottlenecks as some of the challenges hampering the ease of doing business in Nigeria. Bukola Shomolu made this known earlier in the day while speaking on Business Breakfast. Recall that in 2019, Nigeria rose 15 places on the World Bank's 2020 Doing Business Index to rank 131 from 146th in the previous year, and up 39 places since 2016 when PEBEC was established.
So moving from 145 to 131 it's quite a significant leap forward, if you ask me. But then again, it's still reflective of the challenges that we still have with ease of doing business in Nigeria as it is today. In terms of the state, at the state and local government level, there's need to actually streamline and harmonize taxes that are collected from the private sector. There's so you know, I was having a conversation with someone. I said, like, I'm going to suggest, you know, is there a way, for instance, for the small and medium scale and small and medium scale enterprises, the hurdle, the barrier to entry into business is tough. So and I think that government needs to have a rethink in that sector because this is where majority of Nigerians are self-employed, or at least employing one or two people, and things are tough. The purchasing power parity for each Nigerian as we stand today is seriously eroded. What you could afford even in January, you may not even be able to afford now as we speak. So there's need to harmonize the taxes collected and need to harmonize the entry. The barriers to entry have to be removed as much as possible.
Still to come, EU approves end to combustion engine sales by 2035. Details and more business updates right after this commercial break. Stay with us.
The cosmetics and personal care industry globally generates an estimated annual turnover of around $400 billion over the last 20 years. In Nigeria, the beauty and personal care market could reach 3.2 billion euros by 2021, making Nigeria the rising star in sub-Saharan Africa. Products for hair and body care are predominant on the beauty market in sub-Saharan Africa, where face products and makeup remain marginal but have strong potential. Africa's largest economy clearly has a lot to offer. The Nigerian beauty and personal care market is currently worth more than $1.25 billion at retail and is forecast to reach more than $1.31 billion next year, according to Euromonitor International. It includes a wide range of products from skincare items to makeup and beauty items. These are items that predominantly appeal to women and men alike to purchase beauty products, even though men are interested in cosmetics. Nigeria has emerged as the investment destinations of choice to international firms aiming to capture the beauty and personal care market in the continent. The photography business is a very competitive industry. Every year, thousands of talented photo lovers consider turning their passion into a money-making business venture. Especially in a fiercely competitive marketplace like Nigeria, in which it is very easy for anyone to buy a digital camera and call themselves a professional photographer. According to some practitioners, a new photographer who wants a standard studio can start with a budget of 3.5 million naira. However, one can start with a lower budget of about 500,000 to 1 million naira, depending on the tools and cost of rent. On the average, the cost of photography equipment is around 294,790 naira. However, the price ranges from around 41,000 naira to as high as 2.46 million naira. Nigeria has a population of over 200 million people with a vibrant movie industry that produces 50 movies per week, generating annual revenue of approximately $590 million from between 2016 and 2021, helping the photography industry as a whole, according to a recent research by the UN.
local market just make you go buy fresh palm fruit. When you reach house, you go wash, you go pound, your body go dey pain you, even your fingernails go dey pain you. But make una no worry, make una relax. I get good news for una. Una don hear of Banga fresh palm fruit extract. All you need to do now make you go for the up, open am. Take the amount wey you want, put am for your pot. Which soup you wan make? Shey na egusi, shey na ogbono, shey na vegetable, shey na banga. My sister no waste time again. My brother no waste time again. Just go buy Banga fresh palm fruit extract. They go know say you sabi cook and you be better cook.
Banga, come make your food yummy yum.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiville Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiville family.
Welcome back on the African scene. The board of the International Monetary Fund will meet next month to consider the latest review of Kenya's performance in its current lending program. A senior fund official said, potentially unlocking a $239 million tranche. The East African nation struck a $2.34 billion extended fund facility, an extended credit facility deal with the IMF in April last year, and it has already undergone other successful reviews. Okoyetani, Kenya's finance minister, said the timing of the completion of the review was not crucial, as long as the government could access the $239 million at some point. Earlier in the month, Kenya was forced to cancel the planned issuance of a second Eurobond this financial year due to surging bond yields. The Kenyan dollar bonds are some of the worst performers among African issuers this year. A senior official at the World Bank has ramped up its calls for changes in sovereign debt laws so governments have more control when crises strike and they have to restructure their debt. World Bank economists estimate that low and middle-income economies owe a record $9.3 trillion to foreign creditors, and that 40 poor countries and about half a dozen middle-income ones are either in debt distress or at a high risk of it. As global growth fizzles and interest rates surge, the risk of a spate of debt crisis is rising, and yet the available mechanisms for tackling them are deeply inadequate. Indamit Gill, the bank's vice president for equitable growth, finance and institutions, and sovereign debt lawyer Lee Bachit had said. They outlined 4 key changes that would improve the effectiveness of the so-called Common Framework Debt Relief Plan the group of 20 G20 rich nations launched at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. South Africa's consumer confidence plunged to -25 in the second quarter of 2022, the lowest in more than 3 decades, barring 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, as consumers tightened their purse strings, a survey showed on Wednesday. Factors spanning from the impact of COVID-19 related restrictions to soaring commodity prices after Russia's action in Ukraine, among others, have hurt sentiment and curbed spending across the globe. The Consumer Confidence Index, CCI, sponsored by First National Bank and compiled by the Bureau for Economic Research, crashed from -13 in the prior quarter. The second quarter of 2020 had a reading of -33. Although consumer sentiment was expected to weaken further due to worsening inflation and interest rate outlook, the extent of the drop is alarming, the survey added. The survey further revealed that while consumer confidence fell notably across all income groups, high-income confidence has soared more than low-income confidence since the end of 2021. The World Bank announced in a statement today that the bank's board of executive directors approved yesterday a $500 million new loan to bolster Egypt's efforts to ensure that poor and vulnerable households have uninterrupted access to bread. The loan will also help strengthen Egypt's resilience to food crisis and to support reforms in food security policies, including to improve nutritional outcomes. The statement noted that the emergency project will help cushion the impact of the war in Ukraine on food and nutrition security in Egypt. It added that the Russian Federation and Ukraine are the world's largest wheat exporters, and the war has driven up prices and created nutritional shortfalls, particularly for people who rely on bread for their daily nutritional needs. Bread is a staple in Egypt, and this new project links wheat imports to direct assistance to the poor and vulnerable population through Egypt's bread subsidy program. The project will finance the public procurement of imported wheat, equivalent to 1 month of supply for the bread subsidy program, which supports around 70 million low-income Egyptians, including approximately 31 million people under the national poverty line. And on the international scene, European Union countries endorsed a push to eliminate carbon emissions from new cars by 2035, effectively heralding the end of the era of the internal combustion engine. Environment Minister struck a deal on a proposal after Italy, home to Ferrari Envy and automobile Lamborghini Spa, gave up demands for a 5-year delay in the EU's plan for automakers to clean up their fleet. Italian Ecological Transition Minister Roberto Cingolani told his counterparts earlier on Tuesday that he was satisfied with a compromise proposed by Germany that could enable the use of carbon-neutral fuels after 2035. The agreement defines member states' negotiating stance for the further talks with the EU Parliament and the European Commission on the final shape of the bloc's so-called Fit for 55 landmark greenhouse gas reduction package. With EU lawmakers already in favor of giving up fossil fuels in the auto industry, most car companies will likely have to shift to producing electric models in little more than a decade. Natural gas has started flowing from Spain towards Morocco through a pipeline that stopped flowing in November amid a diplomatic row between Morocco and Algeria. Data from Spanish gas grid operator Enagas showed on Wednesday. Algeria decided last year not to extend a deal to export gas through a pipeline running through neighboring Morocco to Spain, halting nearly all of Morocco's gas supply as relations between Rabat and Algiers worsened. A certification process guarantees that this gas is not of Algerian origin, a spokesperson for Enagas said on Wednesday. In March, Spain angered its main gas supplier, Algeria, by supporting a Moroccan plan to offer autonomy to Western Sahara, prompting Algiers to suspend its 20-year-old friendship treaty with Madrid and causing a diplomatic crisis. The shift was well received in Rabat as Morocco decided to return its ambassador to Spain after almost a year of absence following a long diplomatic dispute. And oil prices gained for a fourth straight session on Wednesday, with tight supply worries offsetting concerns about a weaker global economy. Brent crude futures for August were later changed at $117.09 per barrel by 9:17 GMT. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were up 44 cents or 0.4% to $112.20 per barrel. Both contracts rose more than 2% on Tuesday as concerns over tight supplies due to Western sanctions on Russia outweighed fears that demand may slow in a potential future recession. Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have been seen as the only two members of OPEC with spare capacity to make up for the lost Russian supply. OPEC and OPEC Plus, which includes allies such as Russia, began a series of two-day meetings on Wednesday with sources saying chances of a big policy change look unlikely this month. Analysts also warned that political unrest in Ecuador and Libya could tighten supply further. Well, we'll take a commercial break now, and when we return, Margaret will be with us on the news. Stay with us.
Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash, quick delivery.
True unripe plantain flour is 100% natural flour gotten from the processing of unripe plantain. It contains no addictive and has a net content of 500 grams. True unripe plantain flour contains vitamin A, B6 and C. It is gluten-free and rich in calcium. Consuming True unripe plantain flour helps to build and strengthen stronger bones and can be a great meal for diabetic patients. It decreases your chances of constipation as it has a high fiber content and provides you with a low-fat diet. Here are some steps to prepare your True unripe plantain flour. Firstly, mix True unripe plantain flour with hot water in a pot and gradually add water till you achieve desired thickness. Place over medium heat and turn very well for 4 to 5 minutes to get the right texture. Mold into a ball and place in a bowl and allow to cool. Serve with your choice of soup. True unripe plantain flour can be eaten with any variety of soup, be it your ofe oha, ofe onugbu, begiri, ewedu, or your miyan kuka. To get your True unripe plantain flour, contact us at 12 Olowera Isheri Road by First Welder bus stop off Omole Phase 2, Olowera, Lagos, Nigeria, or call 070-6663-8213 or 081-6397-4447. Distributors are needed nationwide.
The cosmetics and personal care industry globally generates an estimated annual turnover of around $400 billion over the last 20 years. In Nigeria, the beauty and personal care market could reach 3.2 billion euros by 2021, making Nigeria the rising star in sub-Saharan Africa. Products for hair and body care are predominant on the beauty market in sub-Saharan Africa, where face products and makeup remain marginal but have strong potential. Africa's largest economy clearly has a lot to offer. The Nigerian beauty and personal care market is currently worth more than $1.25 billion at retail and is forecast to reach more than $1.31 billion next year, according to Euromonitor International. It includes a wide range of products from skincare items to makeup and beauty items. These are items that predominantly appeal to women and men alike to purchase beauty products, even though men are interested in cosmetics. Nigeria has emerged as the investment destinations of choice to international firms aiming to capture the beauty and personal care market in the continent. The photography business is a very competitive industry. Every year, thousands of talented photo lovers consider turning their passion into a money-making business venture. Especially in a fiercely competitive marketplace like Nigeria, in which it is very easy for anyone to buy a digital camera and call themselves a professional photographer. According to some practitioners, a new photographer who wants a standard studio can start with a budget of 3.5 million naira. However, one can start with a lower budget of about 500,000 to 1 million naira depending on the tools and cost of rent. On the average, the cost of photography equipment is around 294,790 naira. However, the price ranges from around 41,000 naira to as high as 2.46 million naira. Nigeria has a population of over 200 million people with a vibrant movie industry that produces 50 movies per week, generating annual revenue of approximately $590 million from between 2016 and 2021, helping the photography industry as a whole, according to a recent research by the UN.
Many thanks for joining us on News Now, coming to you live from our studio here in Lagos, Nigeria. I am Margaret Opara. President of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, has assured members of the All Progressive Congress that the party's leadership will sustain the hearing and hearing process it started to ensure fairness, justice and oneness before the 2023 general elections. President Buhari gave the assurance in Abuja at a meeting with some APC senators on the outcome of the party's primaries and their implications. The president noted the complaints received by some members, saying machinery had been put in place by the party's National Working Committee to address their various concerns. He, however, urged party members to exercise restraint and continue to demonstrate commitment to the ideas while the leadership continues to build and develop the APC and the country. The Nigerian Senate on Tuesday disclosed it would send a high-powered delegation to meet with Senator Ike Ekweremadu in London, United Kingdom. Ike Ekweremadu, who was the former Deputy Senate President, was detained alongside his wife over alleged organ harvesting in the UK. The Senate's decision was after the met behind closed doors for 2 hours on Wednesday. The Senate President added that the delegation would include the members of the Senate's Committee on Foreign Affairs. Away from that, the lawmaker representing Kano Central Senatorial District, Ibrahim Shekaru, has announced his defection from the All Progressive Congress APC to the new Nigeria People's Party NNPP. The Senate President Ahmad Lawan on Wednesday announced the defection of the former governor of Kano State during plenary. Lawan read the letter of his resignation after the upper legislative chamber resumed a 2-hour closed-door meeting on Wednesday. Shekaru in the letter cited injustice and unfairness by Governor Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State as reason for dumping APC. He further stated that the ruling party for the past 2 years have been struggling with unresolved crises. The Senate President, after reading the letter, directed the Chief Whip, Oju Zokalu, to lead Shekaru to the opposition role in the Red Chamber. Now, as part of measures to tackle insecurities, Zamfara State Governor Bello Matawale has imposed death penalty for bandits, kidnappers, among several others. The governor signed the law on Tuesday in Kusau, shortly after the House of Assembly recommended the death penalty for criminal elements. After signing the bill for the prosecution of banditry, cattle rustling, cultism, kidnapping, and incidental offences into law, Matawale said the law will serve as an instrument to prosecute offenders of the crimes in the state. He stated that the conventional security forces are operating in the various theaters, and they are not only overstretched but lack the modern war equipment to prosecute bandits and insurgents. The law stated that anyone who is guilty of banditry, cattle rustling, cultism, and kidnapping is liable to death penalty. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde and his Osun State counterpart Boyega Oyetola are planning to jointly rehabilitate and construct the Iwo Road interchange to Oguremako Junction, Lalupon, down to Iwo Oshobo Road, the major road link between the neighboring southwest states.
There will be ease of movement of goods, of people from Oshobo down to Ibadan. And as we speak now, we have construction going on around Iwo Road interchange to the airport, which we are dualizing, which means that any businessman or woman who feels like traveling to outside Osun State and Oyo State using here from Oshobo down to Ibadan will be no problem for I mean, that will be so possible, and of course it will ease doing business around that axis.
As he has rightly said, in a matter of days, we are looking at before the end of this month, before the end of next month, to jointly flag off. We have also gotten to advanced stage for our own award, and any moment from now, we are also going to award the contract fully. Just as I said, we'll be on this for about a year. We've done a lot of things we need to do.
Justice Ladiron Akitola of the Oyo State High Court has ordered that all impeachment processes of the State Deputy Governor Rauf Olaniyan be put on hold. The order was given on Wednesday when the courts came up at Court 7 of the State High Court, Ring Road, Ibadan. According to the court, the status quo must be maintained pending the hearing of the application for interlocutory injunctions before it. Recall that the case which came up on Tuesday was adjourned till Wednesday due to the absence of the legal counsel to the Oyo State House of Assembly, the Speaker of the House and the clerk. Both parties were, however, present in court on Wednesday. Olaniyan had dragged the parties to court to seek an injunction to stop what he described as faulty process of his impeachment. And moving on, the Lagos State government says its Ministry of Health has developed a set of policies on safe termination of pregnancy, tagged Lagos State Guidelines on Safe Termination of Pregnancy for Legal Indications. End of quote. The 40-page policy document set out guidelines for safe termination of pregnancy within the ambit of the criminal law of the state. Dr. Olusegun Ogboye, who is the permanent secretary of the ministry, presented and launched the document at a stakeholders engagement held on Tuesday in Lagos State. He explained that the policy document was produced following the need to provide evidence-based data and information on health workers in public and private sectors who have requisite skills and training necessary to provide safe terminations to reduce preventable deaths. The permanent secretary added that while therapeutic termination of pregnancy was permissible under the law, the absence of clear guidelines has stalled the effective implementation and appropriate levels of care, resulting in preventable death. Now, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has decried what it described as widespread misinformation about the infection, especially in Nigeria. The Director General of the NCDC, Ifedayo Adetifa, said this on Tuesday at a virtual media dialogue on the infection. Adetifa, however, admitted that there was an uptick in monkeypox cases in Nigeria. He noted, quote, "Monkeypox is not a plot to cause lockdowns like COVID-19, and there is no evidence of the release of the virus from a laboratory," end of quote. He added that more than 3,000 laboratory-confirmed cases and 1 death have been recorded globally as of June 22. We'll take a commercial break now. African news after the break. And now stories from the Africa scene. Clashes have been reported at the disputed Al-Fashaga border between Sudanese army and that of Ethiopia following the alleged capture, execution and public display of bodies of 7 soldiers and a civilian killed over the weekend. On Tuesday, Sudan said that he had fired heavy artillery and recaptured several of its territories that were being held by the Ethiopian army. Asefa Ashege, a senior security official in Ethiopia's Amhara region, said Sudan's army fired long-distance artillery from Monday morning till Tuesday afternoon, but nobody was injured. The escalation of tensions between the 2 African countries, who are also embroiled in a dispute over Ethiopia's filling in a mega hydroelectric dam along River Nile, has raised concerns over security and stability in East African region, where the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda are increasing rhetoric of a potential clash over rebel control of a shared border. Now, the head of the African Union Commission, Chad Moussa Fak Mahamat, denounced the violent and degrading treatment of African migrants on Friday during an attempt to enter the Spanish enclave of Melilla. The AU boss expressed deep emotion and concern at the violent and degrading treatment of African migrants seeking to cross an international border between Morocco and Spain. He also called for an investigation into the tragedy, which will be examined on Wednesday by the UN Security Council. And now on the foreign scene, Russian forces struck a target of the Mykolaiv area of southern Ukraine on Wednesday and intensified attacks on fronts across the country as NATO members met in Madrid to plan the course of action against the challenge from Moscow. The mayor of Mykolaiv city said a Russian missile strike killed at least 3 people in a residential building there, while Moscow said its forces had hit what is called a training base for foreign mercenaries in the region. In the east, the governor of Luhansk province said there was fighting everywhere in battle against the hilltop city of Sinkarsk, which Russian troops were trying to encircle. The governor of Kyiv in central Ukraine said Russian shelling had increased there too in the past few years. Now, world leaders have assured Ukraine that it can continue to support, or rather to count on their support for as long as it takes, and allies will provide military and financial help. NATO member states agreed to strengthen support for Ukraine by pledging a comprehensive assistance package at the ongoing NATO summit. Jens Stoltenberg says Russian President Putin has shattered peace in Europe and that this is the biggest security crisis since World War II. He said the Ukraine's President Zelensky spoke to NATO leaders today and described his leadership and courage as an inspiration. He also said a strong, independent Ukraine is vital for stability in Europe. Now, Turkey says that it will now be pushing for the extradition of 33 terror suspects from Finland and Sweden under a deal that lifted Ankara's objection to the 2 Nordic states' bids to join NATO. Ankara has accused both Finland and Sweden of hosting a Kurdish militant. The Nordic states agreed late on Tuesday to address Turkey's pending deportation or extradition requests of terror suspects expeditiously. Finland and Sweden declared their intention to join the 30-member Western Defensive Alliance in May in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Turkey initially threatened to veto the application, but after 4 hours of talks at the NATO summit in Madrid, the 3 countries reached a compromise. NATO leaders are expected to officially invite Finland and Sweden to become members before end of the meeting. And that's it on news now at this hour. Many thanks for watching. I am Margaret Opera.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash, quick delivery.
And that's it on news now at this hour. Many thanks for watching. I am Margaret Opera. Coming up next is entertainment news. Hello and welcome to Entertainment Business. I am Chioma Amaribulam. Actor Johnny Depp is reportedly in talks to return to Pirates of the Caribbean franchise after getting ditched in 2018. The insider reports that the studio has made moves to patch the relationship with the actor with a $300 million deal. But the representative for Depp has denied a recent report the actor would be returning to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. This is made up, Depp's spokesperson told NBC News. Additionally, Jerry Bruckheimer, who produced the Pirates of the Caribbean films, recently talked to the Times about whether Depp would return. He said, and I quote, "Not at this point, the future is yet to be decided," end of quote. Depp led 5 pirate movies within a 15-year span before 2018. Recall that both Depp and Heard recently made headlines after he won a defamation suit against her over the Washington Post op-ed. Depp was awarded $10 million in compensatory damages and $5 million in punitive damages, but the judge later reduced the punitive damages award to $350,000 under a state cap. Heard had revealed plans to appeal the verdict, citing that she was on the brink of bankruptcy. She has also addressed press about the unfavorable verdict, accusing the jury of believing the star's larger-than-life and beloved on-screen personality. And away from that, multi-platinum R&B singer R. Kelly will be sentenced on Wednesday for exploiting his stardom and wealth over decades to lure women and underage girls into his orbit for sex. Kelly was convicted last September in Brooklyn federal court following a 5.5-week trial that amplified accusations that had dogged the singer of the Grammy-winning hit I Believe I Can Fly since the early 2000s. Kelly, whose real name is Robert Sylvester Kelly, is among the most prominent people convicted of sexual misbehavior during the #MeToo movement against such conduct by prominent men. He has repeatedly denied sexual abuse accusations. U.S. District Judge Ann Donnelly was scheduled to sentence Kelly at a hearing starting at 10:30 a.m. Prosecutors said Kelly should spend more than 25 years in prison for his conviction on charges of racketeering and 8 counts of violating the Mann Act, which bars transporting people across state lines for prostitution. They argued he demonstrated a callous disregard for victims and showed no remorse. Lawyers for Kelly said he deserves no more than 10 years, the mandatory minimum, urging his history as an abused child may have led to his adult hypersexuality and that he no longer poses a risk. And it's a wrap on Entertainment Business. I am Chioma Amaribulam. Up next is Sports Business with Samson Oloyede.
Barcelona has reportedly agreed to sell a 10% stake in its TV rights to private equity firm 6th Street for roughly $217 million. Earlier this month, delegates for the La Liga club approved cession of up to 25% of income from the rights for 25 years, as well as the sale of a 49.95% share of its licensing and merchandising division. The deal will also include streaming rights, though it's unclear whether the team will sell the remaining 15% of the overall broadcasting rights over the 25 years period. The team is expecting to earn roughly $635 million from the sales. Before the vote on June 16th, reports surfaced that Bank of America was in talks with the team for the rights in a deal valued at $645 million. Still talking sports business in the world of football, the United Soccer League has signed a 10-year strategic partnership with experiences firm Legends. The new agreements will see Legends aim to bolster the US-based lower-tier football league's national sponsorship sales, as well as providing fan insights and offering innovative business solutions. The agreement covers all of the USL's men's and women's soccer leagues, while Legends will additionally assist in helping raise the local profile of USL teams in areas such as stadium planning, development and operations, ticketing, strategy, stadium naming rights, sales, merchandise, technology, as well as digital solutions. As it goes about its expansion, the USL is set to add more than 25 new teams over the next 5 years, with the new USL Super League Women's Division set to launch in August 2023. And finally, on sports business at this time, the Open Golf Major delivered £113.4 million in economic benefits to local Kent area during the 2021 tournament, according to new data published by the R&A. The UK tournament, which was hosted at Royal St. George's Course in Sandwich last year, generated a direct economic impact of £19.4 million for Kent, according to a report from Sheffield Hallam University's Sports Industry Research Centre. Additionally, a marketing study by YouGov Sport calculated the county gained £94 million in gross advertising value for more than 5,400 hours of global TV coverage, media reporting, digital streaming platforms, and social media content. And that's it on sports business. Up next is the stock market report.
Hello and welcome to Stock Market Review. I am Omobolanle Adeshui. The Nigerian equities market closed in the red on Wednesday as the Nigeria Exchange All-Share Index declined by 0.31% to settle at 51,802.48 from 51,803.98 basis points on Tuesday. In the same manner, the market's capitalization decreased in value, losing about 85.65 billion naira. The total volume traded on the floor of the exchange rose above 416.46 million units of shares and valued at 3.46 billion naira in about 4,466 deals. On the gainers list, Ikeja Hotel gained 10% to close at 1 naira 21 kobo. This was followed by Royal Exchange PLC, Nigeria Police Force Microfinance Bank PLC, and Fidelity Bank, which gained 7.29%, 7.27%, and 4.88% to close at 1 naira 3 kobo, 1 naira 77 kobo, and 3 naira 44 kobo, respectively. GlaxoSmith also moved northward by 4.84% to close at 6 naira 50 kobo. And on the other hand, University Press PLC topped the losers chart with a 9.62% loss to close at 2 naira 35 kobo, as Chams lost 8% to close at 23 kobo. Shares of Linkage Assurance, Cotix, and FTN Cocoa followed suit, losing 6.9%, 6.2%, and 5.7% to close at 54 kobo, 2 naira 25 kobo, and 33 kobo, respectively. And that's it on Stock Market Report. Many thanks for watching. I am Omobolanle Adeshui. Back to the rest of the news with Perpetua.
Well, that's our offering on Business Now. Many thanks for watching. I am Perpetua Fasome Peter. Bye for now.
Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots. That's what